So, good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining us for after church tea time. I have with me Jose and Michaela. If you'd all like to introduce yourselves, I'll go first. My name is Anupama, and I'm joining you from India, where it's nighttime. So, good evening to everybody who's joining us from Asia and Europe, and good morning to everyone joining us from the US. And we're so glad to have you here. The topic for today is to talk about the journey to unionism, the spiritual journey. Okay? And if my fellow speakers would like to introduce themselves.
I'm Michaela.
Yeah, I'm Jose.
And we're coming to you guys from Spain. So it's also evening here. And we're looking forward to this discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, so looking forward to this.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Hello, everybody. I am Renato. I'm speaking from the UK. It's also evening here. I'm very happy to be with you today for this live, my first live. I'm so happy for this. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us, Renato. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Megan. I'm from Portland, Oregon, USA. And this is also my first live, so I'm really excited to be here.
And we're very happy to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Right. So today was first sermon for Daniel and Deanna. Wonderful sermon. Right? I really loved everything they shared. I'd also like to start with talking about the meditation Karina did. It was something, I felt it was really powerful today, the way she led us. And something that really stood out in what she shared is that love is the way and love is also the compass. Now that really stuck in my mind, I was like, wow, okay, that is true. Maybe I mean, we know somewhere it's true, but today it just kind of sunk in a lot deeper. So that was something I wanted to talk about too. And yes, the sermon. Or if anyone else would like to share something before the sermon, like the meditation And of course, we had the card reading by Jose and Michaela. Thank you so much for that wonderful reading.
You're welcome.
So would you like to share something about what the sermon was for you? Anybody?
Yeah, I just loved to hear Deanna and Daniel's story. Like, I've heard Daniel tell his story a couple of times, but never quite like that. Like, you could really see the chronological order that kind of led him to unionism. And I feel like it's something that everyone can relate to. Like, we all, we're searching for something more, and we were all, really called to the answer. Like, I really resonated with that. And that was something they both talked about. It's like exploring a lot of different spiritualities, or a lot of us maybe explored a lot of different twin flame teachers, or just we tried things. And even if it wasn't spiritual or religious specifically, like Deanna talked about, I feel like we can all relate to that. Like, we were all kind of trying out different things, seeing what worked. And it was just like a process of elimination that led us to Jeff and Shalea's work. And I just resonated with that. It was the same for me. And I thought it was really powerful just to identify with them and just to kind of reflect on my own journey and just feel really grateful for being here. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yes, sorry, Jose.
No, don't worry. Yeah, for me it was the same. I remember since the beginning of my journey, been looking for the thing, in this place. And then I went to that place and it was like, not quite, but there is something that I'm looking for. And yeah, moving to the next thing, okay. And eventually that led me to Jeff and Shalea's work. And it was when okay, this works, and this is the thing. This is not I can be open with everything. It's everything is welcome here.
And you only ever, this teaching, I think the reason why, we end up dedicating our lives to it and really embodying it, becoming unionists, is that the teaching always works And it's always like, like with other spiritualities, like there's always something that doesn't work or that doesn't make sense or doesn't quite fit. But with unionism, it's like everything works, everything fits. You can always go deeper in every area, like food, relationships, money, life purpose, everything. So it's like it covers everything. It gives you like all of the answers.
Yeah, it's the complete pack for everything.
I love that you brought that up, Michaela, because that is so spot on. A lot of other parts that we went on before, it always felt like something was missing.
Yeah.
Some piece was not able to fall into place, and that some pieces did not have the place there. Like they weren't given that place. But somewhere here, it feels like everything has its proper place. Everything falls into place like easily. And if it's not, then we have a way to clear out whatever is not in alignment, and then the pieces that have to fall into place, and those that shouldn't fall out. So yeah, I love that you brought that up, and that it covers every area: relationship, food, health,
Fun.
money, fun, romance, intimacy, and logic also has a place here. Science, and government, the way society is. Everything is covered here. There is nothing that is off topic or unmentionable. And that's what's beautiful about being here, especially the relationship bit. A lot of spiritual based communities don't have the space for a relationship as we know it. It's a relationship. Your celibacy is celebrated. Oh, I didn't mean for those to come out that way, but yeah. But I like that you brought that into that. Even relationships are have the space here and are given the importance that they deserve. And you both are here to share that also. Harmonious union. So, as for you, Jose, how was it also? Like, is there something more that resonated for you when both of them shared about their journey?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Like, what is coming up now is like, the thing that I love the most about this is like, you can explore everything. Like, for example, for the, the Shaleia services, some of them are very like controversial topics, for other spiritual communities. And there is no this fear of, going deeper to explore what is there and to see all of this, like to find the truth in all the areas of your life. And that is what makes this unique.
Yes, absolutely. Amen. Right. And let's move to Renato. Renato, how would you like to share with us about your journey to unionism?
Yeah, I grew up in a Catholic church when I was a child, and then my parents started to go to the Protestant church, and I can say that it wasn't feel peaceful for me because I'm gay. I mean, my physical reality, I'm a gay man, and I grew up with lots of fear, lots of pressure, with these things like I'm going to the hell, so it wasn't peaceful. It wasn't like we have in this community. And I had this upset with God for so many years. And when I was about 20, 21, I started my spiritual awakening, and I became like spiritualist, I would say. But I didn't know like what God is. I would describe God as the universe, but I couldn't find God. I couldn't find myself in this journey. And then I was studying about Buddhism. I was studying about other religions. And when I think it was about 2016, I started to go to a specific spiritual church because I needed to heal myself. I didn't know what exactly. And yeah, I had so many breakdowns, let I would say. But then when I found the community, of course, it was because of my twin flame journey. I realized that what Jeff and Shaleia teach is basically what I was looking for all my life, because God is within myself. I had this upset that God is outside of myself, and I need to sacrifice myself, and I need to suffer. And here, it's just like love. You just need to love yourself, and love yourself. You just feel God's love,
Absolutely.
and it's complete. It's the unionism is basically union with God. It's not like you need to achieve something outside of you. You don't need to find God. You just need to find yourself, and you find God. And unionism for me is be union. Of course, you refer to in flame as you are union with yourself, union with nature, union with this planet, union with people. Union with people doesn't matter if they are from other religions, if they are, different races or sexuality, it doesn't matter. It's everyone, as one, let's say.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And you're very right. A lot of us came here because of our twin flame revelations, and because of wanting to find a way of, reconnecting with them, of trying to understand what is happening. This is a very different relationship, and something is very different here. And then coming to understand that, because this is the ultimate relationship, and it's the relationship with God, what you've been seeking your whole life. That was amazing what you shared there. And yes, the community is about love, and that's something that we are relearning, that we are not short of anything. We don't need anything on the outside. And as you rightly said, when you reconnect with yourself, you reconnect with God. That was a beautiful sentence you put there. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Let's go to Megan.
Hi, yeah. I just want to say thank you to Renato, because what you shared was really healing. Like just there's like this sense of completion, like being a unionist, because it's like there's nothing more that you need but this. Like this is it. It's like when you find your twin flame, like you don't need anyone else. And like that feeling like that this love is enough is just really comforting to me. Like I spent a lot of my life exploring a lot of different like religions and like spiritual teachings or like theologies, and I really related to Daniel and Deanna's story, where it was like, I think everyone's story is really like, it's not enough, there's something missing, and it's really like everything is here, and that feels really good to me. Like there's nothing more that I need to know anymore. Like this is it, and that feels so good. Yeah, I guess I could share a little bit about like how I like my spiritual journey. I know like when I was younger, my parents were Christian. Actually, I think they became Christians when I was really young, but I was talking about God before they became Christians. So I think I might have been part of why they became Christian in the first place. So I think that's pretty cool. But I feel like I've always had a very deep relationship with God since I was very young. I was kind of like, I always felt like that weird kid who didn't relate to many others, because I was like very spiritual for my age. And I was just like always talking to God. Like God was my best friend. Like I didn't really like play a lot with other kids. I was like always playing with God. But yeah, I think as I got older, like there was like a lot of confusion. Like I went to like a Christian school like during middle school, and there was just like, I think that's like the time where I like began exploring like my sexuality and a lot of that stuff. And I just like didn't really like agree with a lot of the things that the church was sharing with me, like about God and about sin. Like there's kind of like this like like feeling in the Christian church like you're not worthy of being loved. And that's like the big thing that like I've had to like work through to like leave that kind of belief, because it feels so bad. And I guess like at the time I felt really like rejected, and I didn't feel safe to share myself and what I was going through, because like I feel like religion isn't very accepting of like different sexualities. Like it's kind of like gotta be straight, gotta marry man. And that wasn't where I was at the time. And so I like really explored a lot. I was kind of like, what is God like? Because I found out like this wasn't what I thought it was. I remember like I explored a lot like of Wicca, or like I don't know, I think that's basically what it is. But what I really liked about it was like how they explained God, and like the fact that God is both like a man and a woman. And that was like really like a big thing for me. And it was really comforting. And it just like, I don't know, it just like touched some place in my heart. And I was like, yeah, like that's right. Like that feels good to me. And yeah, I just like took a lot of time to explore a lot of things. And I think, I think it was like late middle school, like high school, where I was like really getting into spirituality and learning about like really spiritual stuff like Kundalini and I don't know, like all that kind of stuff, like chakras, and was really interested in it. And I feel like that was just another way, like it's just really like all these different ways of exploring God and going deeper and discovering him. But it just like, it feels so good because it all like is a part of unionism. Like everything that like I learned like on my journey that like I took with me because it felt really good, that it felt like aligned, that it was the truth, like everything that I like found on my way, like it's here. And like that feels really good to me. It's like I like took all these little pieces that I loved, but I don't have to do that with unionism. Like everything is the truth here. And I love that so much. And I love like I really loved hearing Daniel and Deanna's like story of like their spiritual journey. And it was really cool how like it was so different from each other. Like Daniel was like really into like Catholicism and going really deep there. And Deanna was like kind of like figuring out God in her own way. And that was like something I hadn't like thought of before. Like how twin flames can go about that in such different ways, but it's like still one. And that was really cool. I really liked that. And I really related to both of their stories because I just really related. But yeah, thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, I love what you shared, Megan. And yeah, you're right. It was good to hear both sides of the story because it gave me perspective too. Because somewhere I've always also still been hooked onto the word twin. So you read a lot about how biological twins are, like they're the same. They think the same, feel the same, and somewhere there is that feeling. So which is what we work through also here. That resistance, that I'm not feeling this way, they are doing this, but it was good to see that while their journeys seemed different, they were still looking for God, in it all. And that's what brought them together, their search for God and finding God. That's what revealed them to each other. So that was amazing. And I love, Megan, how you brought out that you had such a nice connection with God when in childhood, when you were really young. And that's one thing that I've seen with a lot of children, and they're still so well connected, to the divine, that they don't really think twice about, stating what they want or talking to an unknown, unheard, unseen voice. They just do what they're divinely guided to do. And if we see that our journey is also about going back to that state, like not being childish, but being childlike. So going back to that state of childlike innocence, connection with God, and understanding like like Deanna mentioned, I love what she said, that, you know, we are the one child. And I wrote that down because I really liked how she stated it, that as I got to know myself, I got to know God. As I got to know my brother, I got to know myself, and I got to know God. So she really felt into the message of we are the one child of God. That doesn't mean I'm the only child, but then the truth of how that statement, you know, conveys the message. That was something that really resonated for me. And I resonated a lot with both their journeys too, but more so with Deanna's journey of the trauma. Yeah. So, I mean, even my spiritual journey started very young. I do remember having that imaginary friend, the one who, you know, was always easy to talk to, and I didn't have to ask twice to be with me. And a deeper introduction into spirituality was done through my grandmother, my mother's mother. She was very spiritual and told me all the stories about all the gods that we have in our Hindu culture. So, yeah. But somewhere along the way, as I grew up, and then when I left for college, when I was on my own, is when, you know, that was kind of the first time I was out in society as such, on my own, without the shelter of my parents or the home that I knew. Totally different country, totally different people, totally different setting. That's when I started to kind of, well, now when I look back at it, lose my way in a way. And it was not all bad, but then it reached a point where I wanted to give up on everything. And that's when I surrendered to who I thought was God. I had those experiences with God, I had the experiences with inner guidance, but I was also so prone to ignoring it because I wasn't sure that it was the correct voice to listen to. Have any of you had that experience too, where you, now when you look back, you have had God in your life all the time, but at that point of time, you didn't realize that this is God?
Yeah, I really relate to that. I think, yeah, throughout my journey, like while I was experiencing everything, it seemed kind of random and maybe even like traumatic or whatever. But now, like now that I look back, I can see how it really was God all along, just leading me here. And that's something that, like when, especially like Daniel told his story, like he tried one religion after the other, and then he ended up here. Like you can really see the story like of God in that, and I related. And also, I just wanted to share how we related to what Dan and Deanna said about their journeys looking completely different on the outside, because we definitely experienced that too. Yeah, like I think I was like the more spiritual one.
Yeah.
Definitely, like I went through, like I was raised, like my dad's family was Catholic, but my mom tried all kinds of religions, like Buddhism, some type of meditation thing that she did. And then just like New Age spirituality. So it was like pretty, you know, spiritual upbringing. But I remember there was this time that I was invited to like a church. I was really young. I was like maybe 7. And my family invited us to, I think it was like Baptist church or something, invited us to like this event. And it was like, we all had to dress up like we were cowboys and like go to the Sunday service thing. And I remember we were sitting there and it was a bunch of like really young kids all dressed in like pigtails and cowboy hats. And it was really cute. But they started preaching about hell to a bunch of like young children. And they basically talked about how we were all sinners and we were basically going to go to hell if we didn't like accept God. And it was just so much guilt. And I remember just sitting there feeling absolutely terrified, like, oh my God, like hell, like that's, I must be just like a bad person, you know, like it was like this deep sense of guilt, like that was just being like programmed into everyone's minds. And like it was a bunch of children and they were just like staring, like smiling at the preacher, even though it was like kind of disturbing. But I just remember being very disturbed by that. And that was like you know, like a deep sense of like guilt and unworthiness of love that unionism helped me heal. And I just remember like that stuck with me, that like people really need unionism because it teaches that you're like inherently innocent and worthy of love no matter what. And you can heal anything. And so, yeah, that just came up to me while we were all sharing.
That's wonderful that you brought that up, because that is something common with a lot of religions. Like showing us the door to hell is always open if you don't do this, if you don't do that. And, you know, we're all like, oh my God, okay, I won't do it. And we kind of end up doing things that maybe don't feel really good, but then we kind of have no option because the other option is hell. It's literally being caught between the, what is that? The frying pan and the fire.
Yeah.
You know, either ways you're getting burnt. But yes, and that's where being here in this community, embracing yourself, healing through all that, and, you know, realizing that only peace and love are the truth that is God. And God doesn't want you to choose. Like, he's given us free will. Why would he make us, you know, why would he force us to just be with him? If the one who's created us has given us free will, then, you know, that's the mic drop right there. Like, God's given me free will. But what you do with your free will is also, like, you know, up to you, and God's not going to force you. And that's where a lot of religions led us away from God, in a sense. I'm glad you brought that up there. Healing that. We are all healing through that feeling of unworthiness of love and union with God. But,
yeah, it's very important. I remember for me my journey was so different. I wasn't spiritual at all when I was younger. I remember that
He was like anti.
I was like a
Catholic
little
Church.
rejecting, because I remember that
That's really funny.
my first experiences with church and religion wasn't very pleasant to start with, because I remember, I don't know how you do it in other places, but here in Spain you have like a school that you take when you're like 7 years old, something like that. And it's like an introduction to Catholic religion. And I remember going to that. At first, okay, they are teaching this thing about love, about forgiveness, and all of that. I was like, okay, the theoretical part is good. But then you see all the people that were teaching it were also like complaining about everyone, talking bad about everyone, and doing stuff. Is like, you are not embodying anything that you are teaching. And I remember opposing completely to that. I was like, I'm not doing this at all. I remember having a lot of like rejection to that. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to continue with church. I was rejecting everything. And I remember for me, I have like this thing that at the time I called being a good person. Like having this like, no, I need to do this because it's being a good person. Looking back, that being a good person, it was actually choosing union. I was like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that God throwing me to hell because I'm not going to class. It's like, you are not going to class, you are going to hell. Why? I didn't do anything. You are not doing that, you are, what the fuck? No, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, I remember having this like thing apart, like this choosing love and being good and stuff. Yeah, when I discovered this teaching, I was like, oh, I was doing it in another way, in my way, but I was choosing God in that. Even that everyone was telling me what God was, I was like, no, this is not. I was like looking for that thing that I knew in my heart and continuing for that. It's not here, okay. I don't need to go there any longer. Let's look in the other direction. And that was the thing leading me here, because I remember after that experience, I completely forgot about religion and stuff. I was like, I will do my life in a good way, in the way I want to live. I've been happy, actually, because that people were teaching me to be like afraid all the time and to be guilty. And I was like, I don't want that. Yeah, I left that for some years. And after that is when I started my twin flame journey. And I started like researching about everything. I was like, this looks different. I mean, it's not religion, it's like spirituality, but at least it's open to everything. I was like, okay, let's explore this. And that eventually led me here. And I was like, this is the thing. Like, that thing was God all the time. Yeah, and I realized how perfect God can lead you, no matter the circumstances that you have been experiencing in your life. God knows how your heart is, and He can lead you from anywhere if you are willing to it. And for me, like, I was completely against that idea, but God was leading me in other way. But at the end, it was the same, like for you. But it was different the journey, but the destination is always the same. Yeah.
Amazing. And that is the power of free will, right? You chose to listen to your heart rather than just listen to what was being told to you, which did not feel good. And that's why we have that power. And we realize being here that we've always had that power. It's just that we were not allowed to be aware of it in a sense. And I like what you mentioned about, people saying that what you're doing is not right, what you're doing is not good, you're not a good boy. And both Daniel and Deanna, like she mentioned that for a time she was atheist because of, these conflicting ideas and not feeling comfortable in a way. And same with Daniel, that he had that crisis while the sermon was on or in church, So it was resonating to me too, because there was a time when I did give up. I was like, oh, it's impossible that there's a God, because a God won't want what is happening around to happen. Or if God wants this to happen, then I can't resonate with that God, So there was a time when even, not proclaimed atheist, but there was a time when I was struggling with the idea of God and with the connection with God. And then I chose to say, oh, the universe. I'm just going to say the universe. I'm not going to say God anymore. So it was just like that conflict, that because of, like I said, what I resonated with Deanna, the trauma that I had gone through, but yeah, ultimately we come back to the realization that there is and always has been one God, one consciousness. Great, thank you both for sharing. And yeah, as you said, very different, but ultimately the one consciousness coming together. Wonderful.
I'd like to say something about free will. It's very, very funny, because when I was going to the church when I was younger, they were saying, God gives you free will. But at the same time, it was only in theory, because they were like, oh, Renato's not going to the church, so Renato is far from God. So I was feeling separated from God because I was separated from the church by not going to the church. And it's something very common in many religions, not only the Christianity.
Yeah, you have free will, but not here.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you have a free will, but not with us. Yeah, but you have free will. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up. And yes.
Yeah, and also they say God gives you free will, but at the same time they try to control you because they want you to change. You cannot be yourself. You need to change. And in this community, is the first thing, you just need to be yourself. Just be yourself. Feel free to feel your feelings. Connect to God within yourself. That's amazing. That's perfect.
Amen. Yes, that's exactly what I've definitely gone through that, changing myself to match to everybody's expectations of being the good girl, because I wanted to be the good girl, the girl made of sugar and spice and all that's nice. That's what little girls are supposedly made of. So, but it led me to reach a place when I had that kind of crisis. I actually was faced with two almost near-death situations, two accidents, which brought me, like, kind of woke me up out of my stupor. And that brought me to the question of who am I and what do I want? And my mind was just at a blank because I had never really explored that question. And I'd never really explored who I am. And I had no answer. I had no clue. And I was like, I don't know, God. So you please take me back, or you come here and be with me, because I have no clue what to do. And I don't want to be with anybody around me. They all suck, you know? So take me back home, or you come here. So that was my induction onto the twin flame journey. Because so soon as I surrendered, like in that one life near-death situation, I thought that was it. The car was heading straight to a head-on collision with a huge tree. And I thought, okay, this is it. And my life literally flashed in front of my eyes. And like, you know, like people say that you have your whole life spinning in front of you. And I saw everything and I was like, I don't know how my parents are going to take this, but then I can't do anything right now. And at the end I said, okay, God, I'm ready. And as I said, I'm ready, I was looking at that tree that was coming towards us and I saw it move away, away, away. And I'm like, and then the tree is there and we are here. And we just ended up going into a ditch covered with brambles. And I was like, oh my God, that was such a near death. As soon as I said, I'm ready, God just moved the steering wheel. The driver had passed out at the steering wheel. I don't know how her hands moved and turned the steering wheel around. But that was my awakening in a way. And I was like, okay, God is keeping me here for a reason. And then I surrendered to God and said, when I said, please be with me, a few days later, I had this experience of someone shining a very bright light into my eyes. And I didn't know what it was. And I kept saying, stop it, just stop, stop. This white light, and it kept coming closer and closer and closer till I felt it's just going to burn me. And then I woke up and it was pitch black around me. And I was like, where am I? And I realized I was in my house, in my room. All the lights were off. I'd been asleep. So I don't know where that light came from. But then I realized that, oh my God, this was God answering my prayer to be with me. It was not time for me to go. It's time for me to stay here and be with God here. You know, and that was, and about a week later is when my twin flame kind of drove up to my gate. And I didn't know it was him. But I just, as soon as he saw me, he just went, and I was like, who are you? You know, because I was so disconnected from everything. But it's amazing how quickly God can respond to you when you really, really call out to God and communicate to God. And I didn't want anything. I just wanted God to be with me. You know, and that's what we learn deeper and deeper here. And that's what Jeff and Shaleia, God bless them, show us, that we can do more and more. There is no end to how deep you can, you know, be with God. It's unlike any relationship you've had where you've reached a point and then after that you know that there's nothing beyond this. But with God, it's always so, the fun never ends. The love keeps growing, and that's the best thing. And I also like to come to this point with that, you know, another thing which Daniel this time highlighted about how different it was before and after, like before when he was with the church and after now when he's with the Church of Union. That earlier they used to just go through the motions of prayer and praise to God, but without the embodiment of the prayer and the worship. And that is something that we discussed a few days ago in another discussion, where a lot of prayer is just said. There's a lot just said, but the meaning behind it, the embodiment of it is kind of missing. And that's where a lot of people end up feeling like, I said the prayer, but there's something missing. Did any of you ever feel something like that in your experience before being here?
Yeah, actually, I remember throughout all of my journey, like exploring what healing is and just basically wanting to like heal and feel better. Even like the spiritual communities that talked about like self-love and loving yourself as a path to healing. like none of them really showed you how to do that. They would just say like, love yourself. And I remember just being like, well, how? what do I do to love myself? And so that's one of the things that really changed things for me when I found out about the mirror exercise, because it shows you literally how to love yourself, like the actual act of loving yourself, which was really amazing. And when you choose to love yourself with the mirror exercise, it's like you can't really help but embody unionism because you're choosing to love yourself. And so, yeah, it was really something that changed for me. And that's one of the things that really like gained my trust, is like in one of Jeff and Shalea's YouTube videos, they kept mentioning the mirror exercise, and I was like, what is this exercise? And so I bought the book and I started practicing it, and I was just blown away. Like it was like, finally something is working, like I'm actually feeling better, and things in my life are actually changing. So that was one of the things, that they actually give you the ability to like embody the healing and like really heal.
Yeah, it's amazing you brought that up, because when I heard the mirror exercise first time, I already tried it, the Louise Hay method, and there was you look into your eyes, but you say a lot of things, but like you said, something was not feeling complete and didn't know, like, love myself. I'm like, yeah, I am, but I'm not feeling it. And even like Deanna mentioned, a lot of the books that she had read, which also took on a similar path, like The Secret, about law of attraction. And The Secret kind of remained a secret. Like, I guess maybe this is the secret, the mirror exercise, because I tried the secret principles, and again, the same, that something is not falling in place.
Yeah.
And that's when I found Jeff and Shalea's videos, I was again like, God, come on, give me something here, and their videos came up, and I was like, okay, fine. And the mirror exercise, like you said, really, there was a shift within, like, oh, okay, I feel like something's moved and I can breathe now.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing ever since.
Yeah, it's like throughout my journey, like I actually related to what you said about like, being like agnostic, and what Deanna said. I even tried out atheism for a while, because I tried out, like religion and going to Catholic church. I literally hated Catholic church. It was like, I just didn't like it. And then we tried they call it Calvary Church, where it's like you sing, there's like a lot of singing and like lights and, modern Christian. And then I tried Buddhism for a while, and then I went just identified as agnostic. And then I ended up trying atheism for a while. But the reason why, like, this, the way you were talking earlier about like experiencing the trauma and like finally just like surrendering to God, because like you chose to like let him in. Like, I remember the reason why I chose to be atheist for a while was just because I was so hurt, because like my whole life I had been searching for God and for like some higher power that loved me. Like, it was like reality where that didn't exist was just like too painful. And so I tried out atheism, because I was like, well, if God's really real, like, he'll prove it to me, so I was like, I'm atheist. But actually in my heart wasn't. Like, I never was. And I remember the moment that I chose to like go back to God, like my whole reality shifted. Like, so many things changed in my external reality. And then I kind of got a little extreme, and I like threw away all like anything bad. Like, I stopped eating meat. I used to like smoke cigarettes, and so I stopped doing that like all at once. And I was like, I'm going back to God. And that was like the beginning of what led me to TFAS. And I loved in the sermon where Deanna talked about her religion class, or comparative religion, where the professor basically proved God to her. Because there's a class where Jeff did that for us. I can't remember which class it was, but Deanna actually talked about that in the class. And I remember when Jeff was just explaining, like, without a doubt, like, it's impossible that God doesn't exist. I just remember feeling so safe in that moment. And that feeling is like, that feeling of like, I know God is real, and of like safety, is what led me to Jeff and Shalea's work. Because I felt that same feeling watching their YouTube videos. Like, this, like, without a doubt, so logical. Like, this is real. Love is real, and God is real, and I am going to dedicate my whole life to it. So it's just like really powerful, and I loved that, and really, really resonated with what Deanna said.
That's awesome. And I'm glad you brought about the topic of smoking. and wanting to feel safe, because that's something that Deanna touched upon too, and I'm not going to go deep into that topic, but about drugs and people want to feel safe, so they end up numbing out, going into addictions as a way of numbing out to feeling so that they can finally feel safe. And I did that too for a long time, but it didn't really help. And it's not that you don't, it's because that was a way for me to just forget my existence for those few moments or few hours, forget my life. And that's not what we want to do. That's not what we embody here. We want to live our life. We want to be who we are. But is that something that also was part of your awakening journey, like, say, extreme numbing or just wanting to numb out because of the pain or the sadness or the frustration?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you experienced that. Like for me, it was like it was cigarettes. Like the only thing that I did that was like numbing, you know, like bad. But it was it was definitely escapism. And so once I started to realize like I wanted to be with God. Actually, Jeff and Shalea's work was what helped me finally stop smoking. I never told anyone because I was like so embarrassed about it. But I was like still smoking cigarettes when I joined their live classes, and I could just feel in my heart like it wasn't loving to me, like it was not self-love to do that, and I knew that I was not going to do it forever. So it was actually their teaching that helped me finally completely stop, because like it showed me what like I remember in the addiction sermon, Jeff says like you're doing it because you're receiving something from it, but it's at a price. And so I realized what I was looking for is just self-love. Yeah,
and a lot of people choose to numb out because that feels good compared to what's happening in their life, which doesn't feel good. And that's why, but then that's where we learn to heal that here and embrace ourselves and embrace that, you know, we are good at the core and we are love at the core. So there is nothing that we can't have that makes us, you know, happy and peaceful. So you don't need to numb out. You need to awaken everywhere. And that was a relief for me too, to heal those areas where I've numbed out or chosen to build those walls and barriers to love from whatever experiences. Thinking that love hurts. Is that also something that everyone's experienced? Like love hurts? Renato, Megan, if you'd like to share too. About anything we've discussed so far.
Yeah, before and after I found the Church of Union, the Twin Flames universe, for many years I was searching and searching for something. Actually, I was searching for peace, but I didn't know. So I was numbing my feelings out through sex. I had this issue with sex addiction. And I had so many anxiety, panic attacks, and there was a day I decided to change my life totally. So I moved from Brazil to England, and because I wanted to find myself, to discover myself, in order to find something that I didn't know. So I met my twin flame, and then I found love and peace at the same time. But then when my twin flame broke up with me, I felt myself like, what's going on? I need to do something. I need to find myself again. I remember I was telling myself, I need to find myself again. And I remembered I was searching about twin flames, and the first video I watched was Jeff and Shaleia. But I was like, no, they look so peaceful. I need to find something that resonates with myself. So fear, runner chaser, like I wanted peace, but I didn't recognize I needed peace. I had this belief that I needed to suffer on this journey. So after several months, it was last year, after several months, I finally surrendered to God. Like, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know what to do, but please give me a sign. And then I joined the community in the beginning of the year, and it was in April. Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, I just need peace. I just need love. I just need to love myself. I just need God. And after some coaching sessions, and I joined a Twin Flame Ascension School, which I really recommend. And this journey, I realized, is just about loving yourself and find peace within yourself. It's easy. So I would say the difference is huge before and after I found the Church of Union and this community.
Amen. I love how you put that. And you're absolutely right. That was the same response I had when I saw Jeff and Shaleia's video first. I was like, oh my God, they look so in love. They look so happy, and they're together. Because every other twin flame teacher I found before that was just talking about runner, chaser, and like you said, the suffering, that I have to suffer more, and already suffered enough. And I was like, oh God, this doesn't feel right what they're saying, but somewhere the twin flame concept is correct, but the rest of it doesn't resonate. And also the concept that we cannot be with our twin flame in this lifetime, or they'll be in the 5D and we'll be in the 3D. And I was like, why would I even feel that if they're going to stay in 5D? And I was like, God, I tried that. I told you to take me away and you kept me here. So this 5D thing can't be possible, and then, or like not being with them in this lifetime, and none of that felt peaceful. And you're absolutely right, Renato, about, finding that peace and love here. And I'm so grateful to Jeff and Shaleia that when they found the way, they decided they could have stopped and just been in their harmonious union, but they understood how it felt to be on this journey for as long as they had been, and understood the trials and tribulations that people go through, and probably where they've already been, and how people can give up on something that is this beautiful, and they didn't want that. And that is so generous and loving of them, that they decided, we're going to spread this message of how we had this so that everybody can have this. And this is the truth. Embracing this truth, which that resonated in my heart, because I was like, okay, this feels good. My heart agrees. So I'm so glad that they did that. And I'm glad you shared that yes, suffering is not necessary. It's not normal. Peace and love is normal. And maybe not the way we have known peace and love so far, but the way peace and love actually is. It's worth rediscovering that. Megan, would you like to share something on this?
Sure, yeah. I like, I really related to what we were talking about with like addiction, because I definitely I had a lot of addictions I was working through before I found this work. And yeah, I was just really going through a really hard time. I was really depressed. I was living with trauma. Shout out to MAP, Mind Alignment Process that heals trauma. Oh my gosh, I love MAP. But yeah, at that time I was living with trauma, and I just really was searching for peace. That's what I always wanted. I was I just want to feel okay. I want to feel good, and I don't know how to do that right now. And this is a way that I know to do that. I know the big thing that I was doing, I was mostly smoking weed, and yeah, not fun. I actually I think I quit smoking as soon as I joined TFAS, which was, oh my gosh, it was a year and a half ago. So I haven't smoked since, and it feels really good, because yeah, it's really just searching for God, searching for the peace. And you don't get that in the thing. You don't get that in the temporary relief. You get that in the eternal relief that God gives you. And it's just so nice now, because I just remember it was chasing something. It was just chasing a good feeling that was just only lasted for a little bit, and then it would just shorten and shorten and shorten until it was it doesn't actually feel good at all anymore. And it was just really, God was you got to move past this now. I want to give you something way better. And that was this work. And yeah, I really related to like what you're talking about, with like when you first found Jeff and Shaleia's videos. I remember actually like my friend Ocean, who you all may know, Ocean and Charles and Ocean, who are in Harmonious Union. Ocean was my friend who invited me to this community, and she showed me Jeff and Shaleia's like videos. And I remember when I first saw them, I was like very triggered by them. I was like, it was just like, it was so peaceful. I was like very off put by it. And it took me a while to warm up to them. And then when I actually got there, I was like, oh yeah, wow, this feels really good. And it was because I was still like attaching to that idea that I had to suffer and that like I wasn't worthy of feeling peaceful. And when I started to let go of that, it was when I could actually receive that gift. And I just like, I feel so blessed to be here. Like, I feel so blessed to have found this work. Like it's so perfect. Like, you don't have to feel lost anymore now. Like, I never have to feel that again. And that just is so comforting.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's beautiful where you took us. And yeah. And yeah, I like what you said about when you first saw their video, you were triggered. I felt that peace first, and I bought the book immediately and read it in like 1 hour. And I was like, okay, I'm done. Now I can have everything. And then when Jeff spoke about classes and more videos, I was like, then the triggers came up. I was like, what more do I have to do? I have to do more. I have to go to school? No, I've been to schools because schools are always like about exams, and I hate exams. So I was very triggered by that. I have to do more work. I was like, God, I've already done enough. I've suffered enough. Can you please give me that peace, that gift you've been telling me about all these months? Can you give it to me now? I don't want the wrapper, just give me the gift. And I was referring to my twin flame who was revealed to me. I was like, can you just give me that, please? And but you're right, as we kept healing, and yes, a big shout out to MAP. We have 4 MAP lovers here. Yes, me one, my second of MAP. Yeah, and I love how the exercise and MAP are literally getting us to shed our layers of resistance so that our true self just shines forth. And as I've been shedding those layers of resistance, I have been able to embrace the teaching so much more, and the levels of peace and love and connection are like, wow. It's, like you said, Megan, earlier we used to chase the high, and the highs kept getting smaller and smaller before we had to go for the new fix. But now it's like, I don't need the high anymore because peace is very stable and very permanent. It's not here. It's not, saying, hey, it's not it's not a carrot. Like, well, initially maybe it felt like that with the twin flame showing up and then not showing up, but it was just showing us, where we can go deeper and claim more love, more peace, something I hadn't done before. I had not loved myself. I had not known peace inside myself. And yeah, so a big shout out to the mirror exercise and MAP for, really helping me become more of a unionist. I'm really feeling that pieces within me are falling in together instead of falling apart. So, and I remember Shaleia's video where they talk about grounding in your home planet, claiming Earth as your home planet. A lot of spirituality schools that I had learned of before always talked about, leave everything because your importance is, there, up in the sky with the old man with the beard, not here. But I love what Jeff and Shaleia say, that no, Ascension is claiming your love and peace and being here. And that's what unionism is about. The spiritual journey of being a unionist is showing that you don't need to heal, connect with God, and then give up everything to be with God. You give up what is not serving you and see that you are always with God. And that is what the aim is, to always go deeper with God and claim Earth as your home planet. claim your heaven right here, right now. And I really love that they talk to us about that and share that with us. And you know, would any of you like to share that, or about how your journey has been now, like, in this year, in spite of having this global pandemic, how has it been for you spiritually, being here? Or on your spiritual journey right now, this year, how has it been? Yes, Megan.
It's been awesome. Yeah. I think it's like very interesting to see how like it feels kind of like the world is like panicking, or it's really like upheaval. Like the world is going through a lot of upheaval, and a lot of us here are like working through what's coming up with that. But overall, like I've been feeling like really good about it. Like I've been at another job at the time, like at a school, and like I basically got to work at home and be paid, and I didn't actually have to do a lot of work. So I mostly focused on like my coaching and stuff like that. So I was really like, that was a really great blessing. I have like my own apartment now. I got a new job and pays a lot more. And it's nice because I'll be getting to work from home. Yeah, it's just like no matter what happens, like on the outside, like as crazy as it may seem, like you can still always progress, and like your life can always get better no matter what. Definitely has for me. This work just always gets better and better. Like I'm always like just feeling more awesome. And sometimes like upheaval comes up, but yeah, it like the work is just so worth it for like everything you get. It's like it doesn't even like compare. Like it's just so worth it.
That's
I
awesome.
totally relate. I just wanted to say, it's like I totally get what Jeff meant in the prophecy where he said that the tribe will live like independent of Earth but still interconnected with it. Because like I totally get it. Like when in the middle of the pandemic, like we had just come into harmonious union, and like really good things were happening to us, even though like it was kind of challenging in some ways, but it was just like, yeah, like actually beautiful. And we were able, with the help of the Church of Union, like we all knew what the actual purpose of the pandemic was and what like all of this upheaval in the world. And so like we could go through it really peacefully and like not resist the change and just understand that, yeah, it's happening for a reason, and that we don't ever have to like give into panic or fear or whatever. Like we just have to like surrender to God and be at peace.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to scare you into wanting to leave the planet again. You can just continue claiming Earth, because like you said, like we are undergoing a global upheaval.
Yeah.
Where a lot of old ways are being transcended, and the peace and love, is being shown again. Like people are being invited to explore that again.
Yeah, I agree. And I also just want to share just like how healing claiming Earth as our home planet has been, because that was our first fight that we ever got into. It's like I was like, we're claiming Earth and we're staying here. He's like, no, we're leaving Earth. And I was like, haven't you been watching? Like heaven is here on Earth. And it was just like this big wound that we had to heal in our consciousness that like Earth is bad or whatever. And Jose went through MAP yesterday, and I think that the healing that he did is going to be really helpful for that, because it was like, yeah, just realizing like the Earth is a really beautiful place to be, and it's it is like the new heaven, and it's safe to like fully claim your like a healthy and loving relationship with Earth. And that's what unionism is. It's like love in all all areas of your life, like everything that's really grounding, and it's safe to do that. So grounding has been a huge thing that the Church of Union has helped us with, and like claiming Earth deeper.
Yeah, and the only reason like we wanted to leave was because we thought heaven is outside and much better than what we're seeing around us and what we're experiencing. And now we realize we can have it all here. And it's a spiritual journey. I mean, if you look at your life, it's been a spiritual journey, because everything now, when we look back, everything was teaching us something. It's just that now our spiritual journey has taken a different turn, a turn where we realize what is important and what is where to give the priority. So, yes. Renato, did you want to share something here?
Yeah, my journey has been a lot better than last year because there was, a lot of fear. And now, since the beginning of the year, even before I joined the community, I decided and made the choice to heal myself, to focus on myself. And people, my friends, they were saying, "Oh, this year has been cancelled. This year has been horrible. I cannot travel anymore." Yeah, I was going to travel in March. My flights were cancelled. I was like, but that's okay because now I can heal myself. I can work on myself. And yeah, it has been a blessing. Even with the pandemic situation, has been a lot better than before. Yeah, I'm very glad for this retreat.
Oh, yes. And I love what you said about this year on hold. I had a lot of WhatsApp messages which said, I'm not counting 2020. I didn't use it. I'm not going to count it as a year. Cancel. And about, the relationship part, a lot of relationships kind of fell apart. But here we had relationships falling together, like both of you in harmonious union during this time. Like, it was amazing, to have that happen. And like you said, traveling. We've always wanted to travel to different places because we wanted to escape from where we were for that short time, whatever duration was. I just need to go to Greece and see the water and the whiteness. But ultimately we come back home. So for me, I have traveled a lot, but I've traveled from what I used to be to where I am today. And that traveling is like, I don't know. I don't feel the need to escape to any place. I would love to go on a holiday and see the world, but it doesn't feel like a holiday anymore. Like, it just feels like an extension of what I would do as part of loving myself. Like earlier it was, I need a break. I need to get away from my life for a few days. But now it's like, oh, no, I would love to go see those places, but only if I really want to. And it's just an extension of the self-love. Do you all feel that too? That the journey is within?
Yes, 100%.
The vacation.
You mentioned about traveling. I have a list like 100 countries I want to travel in my life, and I really still want to, but not for find my happiness out there, because if I am really happy within myself, I can be happy anywhere. But some people, they need like, I need a break from my work, I need a break for this, for my family, I need a break for my relationship, and they travel to find happiness or peace or anything out there. But when you are happy within yourself, when you have love in your life, you can travel, you can enjoy your life because you can give yourself this present. You can give yourself a beautiful holiday in anywhere, by the beach.
Yeah, it adds to your experience rather than you running away from an experience to have something good for a short. It's like that chasing the high again, and then you come back saying, oh, I need a vacation from my vacation because I need to get back into the grind now. So, but yeah, so it's been amazing. And would anyone like to share something more? We're almost at the end of our discussion. Yeah. Megan?
I just want to say thank you to Jeff and Shaleia for all the amazing sermons that they've done and everything they've done for us. And also thank you to Daniel and Deanna for this awesome sermon. It was really great. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. And yes, thank you. And I love today's sermon. I love that they opened up and shared that about themselves. The vulnerability was beautiful, and it really let us open up to sharing about our journeys. And the journey is not over because it's never about the destination. It's always about the journey. And so I'd like to thank you all for being here today and for co-hosting with me this wonderful discussion. It feels really good and complete. How do you all feel?
Yeah, I think it feels complete. It was really, really a great discussion with you guys.
Yeah, it was complete.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'd like to thank everybody who joined us today, and do join us again next Sunday for church and for after church tea time. And we love you all, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.